All right, welcome back to the Plant-Based Throwers channel. Just wanted to do an updated video. It's been a long time, and season's come to a close. Final competitions are over, and a lot of you might be having questions. What do I do now? Well, I have an answer for you. But first, I just want to tell you a little bit about my first year as a Masters athlete. It's been 12 years since I've thrown javelin, 10 years since discus, and 8 years since shot put. So been a long time off. I haven't trained in that time. I haven't done nothing in that whole time except get fat and lazy. Shocker. So one thing I learned being a Masters athlete is that competitions are a lot different. There's way more camaraderie when you get older. Like, everybody's kind of rooting for each other. I've met some wonderful men and women, guys and gals, always cheering for each other. You find yourself rooting for them. You just want to see people out there having a good time, enjoying life, and doing the best that they can, and trying to make improvements for themselves. And I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to kind of get that off my chest and let you know. Also, when I had started this, my whole goal was just to kind of see where I was at and what I could be capable of doing. And again, coming off of the arm injury I had, throwing a year before they even told me I was supposed to, was huge. Again, I blame the plant-based diet for that one. Recovery was way better under a plant-based diet. I'm sorry, that it's just the truth. It's just what I found out. Going through the whole training cycles and everything, and learning different, how things affect me differently as I'm older, and getting that experience has taught me a lot. I will continue to do videos and update things. But so I've gone through all the training that I've done. And now the season's over, the peak is over, and now you don't know what to do. Well, a lot of people will tell you, just take time off. Don't do nothing. And I have always found that that's incorrect. You don't want to. You can take a week, maybe two off entirely after the season's over, because your body's sore, your body's tired, especially as a Masters athlete. Fatigue is really set in, not to mention the fact that you're not a college athlete anymore, or in your 20s, where you can recover and bounce back and feel good. You also have a life. You got kids, probably, house to maintain, job, everything that's more stressful, and that never stops. So a lot of people will tell you just stop training, and that's wrong. What I like to do is a transitional period, or a post-season period, whatever you want to call it. And I will take sometimes a week off right after the competition, the final competition of the year. I've always done that, even back in the other day. But I used to take a lot longer off, and then I learned over time that you don't want to do that. What I like to do is deload. So I'm just going to draw something on the board here quick. And everybody's seen this before, the whole volume, intensity. I've done this before. But just as an example, so your volume at the beginning of the season always starts high and kind of goes down, right? It's not a direct line like that. And your intensity always kind of goes up. And here is your peak. Okay? Now, hopefully you can see that. Sun's right here now. What I like to do is go backwards. But I like to go backwards in a relatively fast time. So I will, a week after the final competition of the season, I will, let's say, for instance, I was doing, this is what I was doing 3 sets of singles, 3 sets of 1 reps, but max intensity. Again, intensity was really high, volume, let's do this just so it's easy, volume and intensity. Now I'm going to reverse out of this and go backwards for a period of, I wouldn't go more than 3 months. That is by far too long. I'm going to do 6 weeks, and the whole benefit of this is you're going to drop your intensity and slowly increase your volume, but your intensity is going to drop super fast. So instead of this line looking like this, right, it's going to look more like this, right? And so you're going to go 3 sets of 1. Let's say all your exercises you're doing 3 sets of heavy singles. Well, what you're going to start doing is doing 3 sets of 1 the first week, but you're going to drop. Let's say you're doing 300-pound squats, just as an example. All right, so you're going to do 300 for a single. You're going to drop maybe to 275 for a single, and then drop to 250 for a single. That's your first week. That's it. 3 reps. Very, some heaviness, but you drop in the load each time. It's called deloading or drop setting, if you will. But you're not increasing the volume, so you're doing 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep. Okay? Now, that's week 1. Week 2, you're going to go to the 275, 250, 225. You see what I'm doing there? So every week, but you're also going to go to this. You're going to do 2, 2, 2. So that's week 2. Week 2 would be here. Okay? Week 3, 3 sets of 3. So what are you going to do? Sorry. You're going to 3 reps, 225. 3 reps, 200. 3 reps, maybe 185. Okay, so every week you're only increasing the volume just a little bit, but you're decreasing that intensity significantly. Why are we doing this? Well, here's why. Because if you go back to this curve here, okay, the factor that's missing is your fatigue. All right, fatigue is relatively low, and then right about here it starts to increase. Your fatigue goes way up when you start doing low volume, high intensity training. All right, so what you want to do is you want to back out of that fatigue. And a lot of people will tell you that if you just stop training, that fatigue will ramp right back up, or will decrease so fast and you'll be good to go and all that. I prefer to slowly back out of it simply because I still like to feel some strength. I still like to feel good, and I've found that by doing the drop setting like this and working my way out, man, does it feel good to start off with a heavy set and then slowly back down and drop that weight. It just makes the end of the workout feel so awesome. You feel so refreshed and you're like good to go, right? Okay, so that's really why we do it, and it helps recover the body, and you're not going to lose their strength gains. You're not going to get completely out of shape. Actually, you're going to start kind of going back to where you're going to begin your next season, which is on that low intensity, high volume training. Again, I like to do this for a period of about 6 weeks. And what's nice about this is I don't really do any other training. All right, so I'm going to lift, and I'm going to also, before I go that far, on the lifting, I'm going to start out with my Olympic lifts, the explosive lifts, things like that. And then maybe after the first 3 weeks, I'll take those Olympic lifts almost out of the game, or just do hang versions. And then I'll back out into like less and less explosive lifts and less power lifts, and just kind of move more into general training. So, your general moves, your bench, your squats, your deadlifts, even into your overhead presses, even into start going into some dumbbell exercises, things like that. I don't do other training besides stretching. I'll stretch out every day that I lift, and maybe in between I might do a stretching or a flexibility, but that's the benefit of this whole scheme, this whole active rest or deload or off-season, postseason, whatever you want to call it. And I only lift 2 times a week, And the reason for that is, again, you're busy, you're a master's athlete, and you may not have all the time in the world. Right now it's summer. Typically your master's schedule gets over in July, maybe August, and it's summertime. You want to enjoy summer. You want to do things with the family, maybe go on vacation if you're doing that. That's what I typically do, especially this year. I'm going to do a 6-week deloading phase, or detraining, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of that 6 week is going to be my off week, where I'm literally going to do no training. Okay? I'm going on vacation. I'm not worried about anything to do with training. I'm probably not going to worry much about nutrition. I mean, just keep a close eye on things, but not going crazy. And it's just a week to kind of let your mind at ease, let your body at ease, relax, enjoy vacation, enjoy the family, and know that when vacation's over, you're going to get right back to the beginning of your next season training. So again, with the lifts, twice a week, the reason for that is you don't have to keep a strict schedule. All right, that's the other benefit of this whole 6-week phase, is that say you normally lift on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Thursdays, whatever your normal lifting days are. If you miss a Monday, that's okay, it doesn't matter. You lift Tuesday. All right, but your intensity is dropping so much that you can get more frequent with this, or space them further apart. Say you get your Monday lift in and you're busy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can only lift Friday. That's fine. The whole point of this is just to keep your body moving a little bit, keep your technique with some of the lifts going, and just kind of a general overall fitness. You're just maintaining. You're not really looking to make any improvements. You're not losing anything. The only thing you may lose is you will lose some strength, but that's fine. You don't really need to keep your strength up, and you can't for that long anyway, especially if you just came out of a peaking phase. You know that your body cannot handle that for that long of a time frame. So, but I also, again, 6 weeks for this is perfect. Even shorter will be fine. Generally 3 to 6 weeks is a good idea. For beginners or newbies or somebody who's just coming in, they might need 3 months off. So you can go to 12 weeks, but I really don't recommend that. So 6 weeks for this phase. That'll help get your body recovered, because again, I'm gonna have to erase this. I wish I had a better eraser, but I don't. So bear with me. All right. So the reason for the 6-week thing is, let's just say that, how do I want to put this? If this was training, some of you may have seen this curve before too, but this is your time this way. If you train, this is your training, as your time. So if you're doing technique work or even hypertrophy type work, you train a little bit, your body recovers, if that makes any sense. So recovery time maybe here, the baseline after just a few days, maybe 24 to 48 hours. All right, now your neuromuscular system and so your nervous system and everything like that, your neural adaptations, they take a little bit longer to recover. This might be a period of 1 to 2 weeks, okay, to fully recover from the heavy training and things like that. Generally within a couple of weeks, your body's like, okay, I can go back to doing some high neuromuscular training, plyos, things like that, which is fine. But we're not going to push it yet, because we know we got a long week, a long season ahead of us coming up. Because the other thing is that any injuries, any actual physical injuries, so maybe you have some joint problems, you have some bone problems, you got anything like that, you got some real stress, tendonitis, that is going to take longer to recover, sometimes up to months. Okay, that is why I generally will go 6 weeks. This right here is 6 to 12 weeks typically for your body to completely recover from all the training you just did. So this is usually caused by the highest intensity training. This is moderate, and then this is low intensity training. I've gone over that before. But that is the reason why you have this transition period after the season. You're trying to completely recover from everything so that next season you start fresh. I actually consider this the very beginning of the season, all right? The other thing you can do in this is if you have an injury or a real lagging body part, like again, my arm is a little bit lagging behind what it should be, but you can do some physical therapy in here because that's really low stress. It's really easy to do. And that I wouldn't do on your lifting days, do that on your other days. So if you're a gym rat and you can't stand just lifting twice a week, do your physical therapy on the other days. That's fine. That's not going to interfere with any of this other training. So pretty sure that covers all that about the transitional period. I will tell you a couple things that I've learned going back into, competing again. Everything that I did training wise pretty much worked the way that I thought it would. There was only one kind of oddball scenario that happened to me, is that, so I'm a fan that every meet you compete at, you should progressively get better distance wise at competing. And I know, especially when you're younger, but as you get older, that may not be possible. But the training I did was designed to do that. It was designed to improve your performance on almost like a week by week basis, or over the course of the whole season. That happened for me in the javelin. Pretty much every meet I competed at, I got better and better and better. Right towards the end, at the very peak, I improved a lot. Discus started out good, kind of had a few technical flaws in the next couple meets, but I still got a little bit better. Training wise, I actually was throwing farther in training. It just didn't happen in a meet. I also had a lot of scheduling issues during meets, which is one thing I do not like about the way the Masters is set up, is that the meet, you throw shot put, discus, and javelin all pretty much at the same time, and so it's hard to do. If you focus on one event and then they'll get your throws in the other event, you're not necessarily always competing with the group of guys you're supposed to. The New York State Championships, I threw shot with all the guys. I missed the javelin throw, so they let me throw in a different flight. I was actually throwing with the ladies. And then while that was going on, discus had started, so I had to skip 3 of my throws in the javelin to go throw disc, and I didn't get to warm up for disc. Funny part about that is I actually set my seasonal best at that meet in the discus. So then I went into the regional meet, which was like 2 weeks after states, which again I tried to peak for, and technique was, I don't even know what to say. I had one throw that I fouled that was certainly probably a PR, not a PR, but a seasonal best. But it just didn't happen for me technically. So javelin was improvement almost every week. Discus was an improvement over time, but I had a couple of meets in between where things just didn't happen right. Technique was a little off, and I didn't throw that great. Shot put is the one thing that I have to reevaluate some training there, because I started out throwing, I had my seasonal best the first competition, and it just kind of progressively went downhill. which is odd because all the other events went up. So I'm not really 100% sure as to why that happened. I know technique, I was really trying to hit some technique, and I didn't practice shot as much as I should have. That might be why, but I think there's a couple of training tools that I gotta keep in my training for a little bit longer that are more geared towards shot put to kind of help keep that one going. I will evaluate that in this off season. That's also one of the benefits of this 6-week training right here is, again, you're not focused on doing all the plyos, all the flexibility training. You do a little bit of that, you lift, and you do no throwing. Don't even worry about touching an implement during this 6-week phase. Your body does not want to do that. So it's an active rest period and just deloading your body, detraining it, just to kind of get back to a baseline level so that you can start a big, long training cycle again. During that time frame, you can evaluate things that worked, things that didn't work, make adjustments. I keep track of everything I do. I have a big binder full of everything. It's all printed out, and I make notes during my phases, during the workouts. Hey, this is working, this is not. This has really helped, and this is not. And some things I have, over the course of years of doing this, man, this exercise doesn't do nothing for me. I don't even bother with it anymore. Or, man, I used to do that and it worked really well. I'm bringing that back, and that's what I have to look at this off season. I really don't think I got any more to add to this. So it was a pleasure this year. I hope all of you who are following and listening like and subscribe to the channel. I also have an Instagram, plant-based thrower, as well. I don't really post a whole lot of content on there. It's mostly on this YouTube channel, but I appreciate all the support, and I look forward to seeing all of you out there, and have a great off season. I will periodically do some videos here and there, but I'll see you on the flip side.